Hello YouTube and welcome to another Cisco tutorial. So in this video I'm going to show you how to secure the Cisco iOS password. So are you ready? Let's get started. So as you may know, Cisco devices implement different type of passwords. Okay, so in order to secure them, let's first understand the different type of Cisco iOS password. Okay, so here I'm connected to my Cisco router on my home network, and I'm gonna actually implement different users, and each user will be actually having a different type of password. So the first type actually that was implemented in Cisco iOS devices is what we call type 0, which is actually stores password as clear text in the configuration file. So let's implement that and see that live. So in order to add user, the command is pretty simple in Cisco iOS. It's user name, let's call it for example user1, and in order to implement type 0, which is a clear text password, we use the keyword password, as simple as that. Then we add actually the main password. So let's go with the default famous one, which is Cisco. Okay, so now as I told you, this is type 0, which stores the password as clear text in our configuration file. So let's take a look at the configuration file and confirm that. So I will use the command show run in order to show the configuration and see if indeed the user1 actually has password as clear text in configuration file. Here we go. So here this is the line actually related to user1. So username user1, and the password here is 0, which means type 0. And you can see the password, which is Cisco in this case, is presented as clear text in our configuration file, which is the thing you should never do, because if someone get hold of your configuration file, he will know that actually the password for that user, which is security breach. Okay, so this is type 0, as I told you. There is another type, which is actually type 7. Okay, so type 7 use actually an old hashing algorithm in order to implement the encryption of the password. So we'll be using the same user1 in order to implement type 0 or type 7, sorry. So in order to implement type 0, it's pretty simple. All we have to do in the global config mode is to type the command service password encryption. So this is the first command that you can implement in your command in order to get type 7. So let's hit enter. So let's take a look now at the configuration and see if we still have the user1 password as clear text. And as I told you, it will not be as type 0 because we have changed the type to type 7 with the command service password encryption. So let's take a look. So here we go. You can see now that username user1 has a password of type 7, as you can see here, and now the password is hashed. So there is here some actually numbers that used to actually encrypt our Cisco password. But the problem here, you cannot see the password in clear text in configuration file, but still there are a lot of tools that allows you to decrypt this weak actually type 7 password. So I will show you just a famous site that a lot of people use. So if we copy that hashing, if we go to this site here, so this site is actually for Cisco password cracker. There are a lot of sites on the internet that actually use or offer this service for free. So this site is from IFM Network Expert. So here you can see that you can actually enter or paste your type 7 password and it will crack it. Okay, so let's paste it, and if we crack it, you can see it's Cisco. So let me remove that crack it, so simple as that, it has actually give us the plain text of encrypted password. Okay, so you should also never use this type 7, or actually should never use some simple password as it is. But as I told you, this type 7 uses actually a pretty weak algorithm in order to encrypt our passwords. Okay, so once again, never use type 7. Okay, so let's go to the third actually type, which was introduced in Cisco iOS, which is type 5. Okay, so type 5 actually use MD5 hashing algorithm with the 4-character salt. Okay, so in order to make the decryption actually a lot of difficult than type 7. So in order to implement it, it's simple. Let's create another user. We call it, for example, user 2 in this case, in order to distinguish between user 1, and would be actually using just the keyword secret. Then let's enter our default password, which is Cisco. Okay, so with this command we actually implement type 5 password. Here we go. So let's verify the configuration of our running config in order to see the hashing. So as I told you, this type 5 use MD5 hashing algorithm with 4-character actually salt. Here we go. Let's go to see user 2. So you can see user 2 now has this form. So this 5 here means type 5, and you can see this hashing password. Okay, but we still actually can crack this password here. So if we copy it, so let's copy all that. Here we go. And if we go to the same site, it offers also service for enable secret type 5 password cracker for free. Okay, so let's remove that, and let's remove that, and let's paste our password. So let's crack it. So you can see it gets me directly the Cisco plain text. So once again, you can see how easy it is to crack type 5 passwords. But here I actually enter a pretty famous password, which is Cisco. So better way to use difficult password with some special characters and letters and okay, and numbers. Okay, but still the idea here, there are a lot of tools in Python, for example, that allows you to crack this type 5 password. Okay, so you should never also use type 5 password in your Cisco iOS devices. So another type that you can also implement is type 8. So type 8, which is also called PBKDF2, it's used, this case it uses a hashing algorithm which is SHA-256 with 80-bit salt, which makes very difficult to decrypt or to crack the type 8 password. Okay, so in order to implement it, let's create user 3, for example. So I will create username user 3. Okay, and here we have to implement it using the algorithm type. So we'll be using SHA-256. Okay, then the keyword secret, then our password. Okay, here we go, Cisco. So here we have actually make a mistake. I guess let me see the type that we can implement. So it's SHA without this hyphen here, so just SHA-256. Okay, then our secret, which is Cisco. So this algorithm actually will encrypt our password Cisco in this case using the algorithm SHA-256 with 80-bit salt, which makes very difficult to actually crack. Here we go. So let's verify the configuration for user 3 to see what we get. So you can see now how long it is our hashing. So it's a lot of difficult to actually crack this type of password, but still there are tools that can crack this password, but it will take a lot of time in order to decrypt it. It's not like type 7 or type 5, for example. So there is another type, also type 9, which uses more difficult also algorithm in order to implement password for Cisco IOS devices. Okay, so here you can see the different type that actually are very famous in Cisco IOS. Type 0 or type 5, you should never use it because they are very weak. Also type 5, so at least use type 8. Okay, but the best choice or the best practice actually is to use AAA servers in order to store password for our username. So you should always use AAA servers for your actually password, but in some cases you must also implement local accounts in case of the AAA servers are not available. Okay, so that was just a brief video to show you the different type of Cisco IOS password that has been implemented or that you can implement into your Cisco iOS devices. So as always, I hope it has been informative for you, and I want to thank you for viewing. Bye bye.